Hello and welcome everyone to Weekend Rental, your gaming and geek culture podcast. This is episode 59. I am Ryan, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome. All right. As always, you can find us on iTunes and Google Play. Wherever you listen to us, if you could leave us a feedback, a review, it really helps us out, gets the word out there. We appreciate it. And of course, whether you're into gaming, movies, comics, or more, you can find all of that wonderful stuff along with our podcast over at geekade.com. What's your geek? Let's dive into the opening segment of the podcast. This is Buy, Rent, Burn. If you are new to the show, what we do is we all pick a game for a given system. System this week is the Sega Genesis. We'll all play our picks individually and then decide which ones we'd personally buy, rent, or burn. So picks this go round. Andy has gone with Sonic Spinball. Nate has gone with El Viento, and I've gone with Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron. So let's go back up to the top. We're going to talk about Sonic Spinball. First, we'll read a description. This seems like a very familiar description to me. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I've read it recently or something. Sonic the Hedgehog spins into a pinball pandemonium. Dr. Robotnik's latest robotic creation factory is the Vegematic Fortress, a volcanic island fueled by the Chaos Emeralds and protected by the pinball defense system. Strap on your powerful sneakers for all new Sonic moves.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that Dr. Robotnik had the Chaos Emeralds. Like, this is what he was planning to do all along, was to make a pinball island from the first one. Pretty lame idea, but yeah, Sonic... He becomes a pinball because he can roll into a ball. So you make a game. That's kind of what you do. But it's not a very good pinball game because they also do a little bit of platforming in it, which I kind of like the exploration part of it. But once you put the pinball in the platforming physics, it just kind of ruins the whole game. Doesn't feel very good as a pinball game at all.
I feel like there was missed opportunity here too with the fact that you called out that he is a ball. So why didn't we ever see like Sonic as a soccer ball, or in Sonic Tennis? Why is he not like Sega All-Star Tennis? He should be the ball. He shouldn't be a player. Bowling. They really screwed the pooch with Sonic.
I mean, maybe I haven't played the latest Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. Maybe it's Mario using Sonic as the
bowling ball. Yeah. Watch that middle finger. Yeah, I think this was the first instance that I could remember as a kid of like a mascot pinball crossover game. At least I couldn't think of one prior to this. I mean, obviously there's been a ton since. I just remember always thinking he was a little bit off in as far as like the presentation of Sonic. I think the character design's not quite there. The level design's maybe okay for a pinball table, but out of place for the Sonic world for the most part. And like you said, like the bits of platforming sprinkled in with the pinball kind of just ends up being two play mechanics that just don't quite meld in a very meaningful way. And it's not bad. It's just kind of like there's not a lot going on beyond the little pockets of things you have. So you find yourself just kind of like repeating the play field, not really having too much fun with it. At least in my experience, it's just not something that there's nothing there that pulls me back in. You know, there's no redeeming quality to say like, oh, I'm going to pick back up Sonic Spinball. It's just kind of like that. It's an experience you play through once. You're like, all right, they did that, and I don't think there's much beyond it, at least to me.
Yeah, I didn't really catch much of the platforming. I mean, to me, it came across as very minimal, just getting to an edge, and you'd stand there and then jump. But I guess I didn't go through a ton of sequences that had a lot of platforming, so it doesn't play well. If you're making a pinball game, it has to play as close to pinball as you can. So that's no delay with the flippers or anything like that. But this one definitely has just a very loose playing. you hit the ball and it's very delayed. It just doesn't play well. And I agree. Like Sonic looked off. There wasn't something like they changed the artist of some sort. It just didn't look. It looked like a knockoff Sonic game for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, especially the first stage too. Sonic is known for bright, colorful, easy, and fast first stage, and this is like grungy and kind of hard. But yeah, it's not great. I would say maybe not platforming, maybe isn't the right word. It's probably more exploration than anything. There's a few spots where.
Well, and when I was thinking platforming, I meant more of like they still give you the platforming controls of Sonic as far as like air control, the ability to walk and jump, but it's just like so neutered that it doesn't change the way the game plays out.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've ever heard neutered on the podcast. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the first time we've heard penis on the podcast, though, right?
That's right. I feel like you're Bob Barker. Remember, folks, get your Sonic neutered.
After this game, he probably should have been.
Yeah, he was neutered a long time ago, I think. I think the dream of this game came to fruition with Yoku's Island Express on PlayStation 4. If you guys have not played that, you should check it out if you can. But it's little platforming bits, a little bit of Metroidvania, and then there's like some pinball in there too.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. We've talked about Sonic Spinball to El Viento, which in Spanish means the whale's vagina. Fun fact. Description on this one. The year is 1928. In a distant galaxy, a monstrous entity watches and waits. Though his purposes are beyond the understanding of mankind, the mighty Hastur lives only to destroy, with the power to easily obliterate an entire planet. On Earth, he's worshipped as a god by a bizarre cult, whose evil purpose is simple: to summon him to Earth so that civilization may be wiped out and a new order begun. Yeah, that's kind of the gist.
That's good. I think the title really throws this game off. El Viento, using a Spanish title. There's nothing Spanish about it. It's very anime driven, it just throws the whole thing off. And you could read that whole description, but you don't really need to, because you could just sit on the start menu and it will play the whole story for you, which is stinking awesome, by the way. That the animation that they do with that, the cutscenes, and they really lay the story out, that gets a person pretty excited to play the game. And then once you hit start, it's not that at all. I guess it would be considered a beat 'em up / platformer, and they couldn't really decide which one they wanted to go with. I would say it's more beat 'em up in a way, but I feel like it has all the elements, music and look, just to be a really great game, but it just doesn't play well. You're inundated with endless enemies just running at you all the time. It's a never-ending thing, and there really isn't a rhyme or reason to it, and so that makes it just very frustrating. And it's definitely a game that you're going to have to grind out for a while. I mean, you would think that there's no enemies, and then all of a sudden this motorcycle comes out of nowhere that gives you no reaction time, and you don't know if you're doing damage on the motorcycle or if the motorcycle is doing damage on you.
So frustrating.
Extremely frustrating.
You don't even know if you connect, really, because the animation when you connect is not significant. I didn't even think about that. That is frustrating.
There's usually at least 5 enemies on the screen at all times, it seems like, too. There's just no like real smart design as far as enemy placement or anything.
Nope. They're like, how many sprites can the Genesis handle? That many? All of them!
Barely, because when we explode this thing, it's going to go down to like 3 frames a second.
Those are some sweet Genesis exploding physics, though. Like, shrapnel everywhere, guys in the middle. I like how the enemies are unscathed, though. Like, you can blow a car up on their face, like the dude just walking through with the knife at you.
Yeah. And the guy behind the pillar, like he's waiting for you to pass by so he can pop up behind the pillar and shoot you, but you can see him.
And that completely messes you up because you're equipped with a boomerang, and I guess a fireball, a Hadouken. And yeah, this guy is totally visible. Probably 3/4 of him is sticking out from a tree or a pole or whatever. And you spend, I spent a couple minutes like trying, is this like a pixel perfect hit? I'm not sure. And I just kept on throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. Nothing happened. I was like, well, maybe he's not supposed to be there. And as soon as you pass him, all of a sudden he pops out like, ha, you didn't see me. Here we go. Oh man, that part was extremely dumb.
Yeah. I just love the fact that this game is made by a Japanese team with anime stuff in it. It's based in New York. It's published by a European company, I believe, and it has a Spanish title. Like,
yeah, it's a weird game
for that demographic. They're like, we need to get the southern states up here a little bit.
It feels almost like they try to like capitalize on like Strider or something, but it's just due to the endless onslaught of like, it's one of those games where like the onslaught of just constant enemies flying on screen at a never ending pace, and the ability to, because of their speed, to not have time to react, and you're always going to take damage. It's not a well designed game. And even the color palette's like okay for like the cityscape, but even visually, at least from the opening section, there's nothing kind of to wow you. It gets a little bit better once you get past that first screen and the cars start coming in. There's more color stuff.
There's a lot of brown tones, a lot of just like tan and brown.
They got
even your
to
character is kind of that.
Did.
Yeah.
And that boss where there's like, it's a tank in a house or a room, and you're like stuck in this room with a tank just with barrels pointing right at you. Like, what are you supposed to do?
That's normal, tanks and houses. Yeah. There's potential. There's potential for a really good game in there. It's just kind of sort of like a thrown together game, it almost feels like, with a Spanish name. Let's talk about my pick. Last one here. ToeJam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron. ToeJam and Earl, the dynamic duo of funk, have returned home after much interplanetary partying, but all is not well. Pesky Earthlings hitched a ride on their Rapmaster rocket ship and are now causing havoc all over the once peaceful planet of Funkatron. And ToeJam and Earl are to blame. So this is the second game in the ToeJam and Earl franchise. Most people love and are familiar with the first ToeJam and Earl, and this one kind of gets a bad rap. My first experience with it was I was aware of ToeJam and Earl. I was never a Genesis kid. So when I actually started collecting way back in the day, I think I found this at a thrift store at college, like my freshman year of college. I knew of ToeJam and Earl, so I grabbed this game and I put it in, and like it appealed to me. Like, it's got that 90s nostalgia. It's got colorful graphics, a lot of just style and some interesting play mechanics. It's not truly a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which deviates from the original game, which was not that. But it's sort of like a 2D scavenger hunt where you're going through and you're trying to find prizes, spook out Earthlings, capture them all and send them back home. So, if you walk into it with no prior knowledge of what this franchise was before, I think you're going to find that this game is far less disappointing than others might have you believe. And that's kind of the experience I had with it first off. So I still think it's enjoyable from that perspective today, but.
Yeah, it's I've never really played a ToeJam and Earl game except for this one. So I know they're very, very different as far as layout goes, and but this is the only like ToeJam and Earl layout that I know, and so I think it plays well. And I'm not always a big fan of the search everything out, find something. You got to kind of explore around. I kind of get annoyed with that sometimes, especially in the older consoles. I just don't get super excited about that because I don't know exactly where to go or exactly what I'm looking for. And of course, when I jump into play, I don't want to read the tutorials or all the little stop points. I just want to just plow right through it. So, yeah, it is very quintessential 90s for sure. It looks like Saved by the Bell. Like the spirals and triangles and yeah, oh my gosh. but has the music of it's Saved by the Bell meets Sonic Spinball as far as the music goes.
Hey, don't bring the music down that far.
They have the same track, and sometimes I think, I don't know, less is more. There's just a lot going on in that game and a lot to take in. Yes, it's colorful and bright and looks good, but there's just a lot of it.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree. I was definitely in the camp of being disappointed back in the day when I rented this, because it wasn't like the first one. But now replaying it, I think there's a lot of merit to it itself. As long as you disconnect that, it's not a roguelike, it's a different game altogether. But yeah, what I really love about this game is the amount of flair and like character in this game. Like they really put a lot of character in both characters. I don't know if you guys played the 2-player, like both of them together.
A little bit, and then I kind of decided I wanted to go solo.
Yeah, so like if you push on one side of the screen, Earl will push back on the other side. There's just so much like stuff that they have in there that they didn't have to program in there, but it adds just a ton to the game, But yeah, overall, I think the scanner is cool, where it's kind of like a vision of seeing hidden things, which is kind of unnecessary. It's like that kind of defeats the purpose of the game, I thought. But
right, yeah, because you could just search everything anyway, and then you don't have to scan. Yeah, I wonder if it's always. Do you suppose that's always programmed to the start menu, or do you think if you have a 6-button controller and it remaps?
That maybe that's true. Yeah,
because that'd be way more convenient.
Yeah, than having to go in there every time. Yeah, but I don't know. It's got a lot of I don't know, character. I can't think of another word for it. Yeah,
there we go. A lot of pizzazz.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's probably the most charming and memorable piece to it, because it's certainly not the gameplay. I mean, although it's adequate, it's pretty forgettable. It is cool though too. Like I love games where you can fall into a pit. Like the first time you fall into water in this game, you're like, fuck, I'm dead. But then it's just got this absurdly long load time to go to the underwater. Right, I was like, oh, I'm not dead. This is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Like, so I always like that, like Clash of Demon Head and stuff too, where it's like the common platforming pitfall turns into another area to explore. So that's cool.
Yep.
And with the remake or what was it on this? Was it on the Switch, or I can't even remember what it was.
It came out on a few platforms
not too long ago.
Stuff.
Yeah. It started, I feel like you hear about it more, and people praising it and going nuts over it. I think there's a bandwagon a little bit, just with the Toe Jam and Earl series, I guess.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys think? Let's go through our votes. Andy, start with you.
I think my buy is going to be El Viento. I think there's a lot to that game. The only thing that drags it down is the enemy placement, and I think if you put enough time into it, that would get less annoying over time. The more you are aware of, which ones are going to pop out. But as you kind of continue exploring that, I think there's some extra mechanics there that could probably be a lot more fun. It reminded me a lot of Shinobi. Obviously not quite as good, but when you're comparing it to that, it's probably going to be halfway there already. So that's going to be my buy. My rent is going to be Toe Jam and Earl. I totally thought this whole buy, rent, burn would probably be opposite of what I'm going to say going into this, but Toe Jam and Earl kind of surprised me. So that's going to be my rent, just because I enjoyed kind of the amount of graphics that they had in there for sure. And then my burn, going to be one of my childhood favorites, is Sonic Spinball. And I'm not sure why I liked it so much. Maybe I had a Sonic craze that just let me get over the hump of some bad gameplay. But yeah, it does not feel good. I like the idea again of exploring in a pinball board, kind of. But there's not enough of that for it to save this game at all.
I wanted to insert that Reggie Fils-Aimé clip right there when he said that. This game is not good.
Yeah.
Nate, how about you?
Yeah, my buy is definitely going to be El Viento, the wind in Spanish.
That is not what that means. We've already established that. Clearly, your El Spanish show is not as por favor as mine.
Grazie.
El Gato.
El Gato. Tengo el gato los pantalones. Is that like I have cat and pants or something like that? I don't know. Anyways, I don't know where we're going with this. El Viento for sure is going to be my buy. I feel like that's a game that if you're willing to put the time in and grind that game out, there's definitely some rewards. I think there's enough there to make it buy worthy. My rent is going to be Toe Jam and Earl because it's not Sonic Spinball. And Sonic Spinball is not good. I never want to play that game again. Ryan, what about you?
I'm burning Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, you would.
For established reasons. I'm going to buy Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron because I think of everything we played here. It is the most fully fledged and realized game.
And you're just buying it because I didn't pick it.
I do genuinely think with my rent, El Viento, that you guys are like kind of on crack. I don't know what you guys see in this game to like redeem it enough to buy it. Like I don't see bits of quality there. I see sprinkles of shit. Is more how I look at that. So El Viento
I just see animosity towards your picks.
Bring a good game. Bring a good game. Nate.
I've been bringing good games this whole time.
It's not good.
Deep Blue.
I just think.
I
think Toe Jam is a good 20 minutes, like a very good 20 minutes, and then after that,
even so, like a fantastic 20 minutes is better than like 5 minutes of this sucks, which is about all I'm going to give El Viento.
That's what your lady says.
I don't care. I mean, I still get mine out of that. So remind me not to have my wife listen to this episode. All right, guys, another buy, rent, burn in the books. Moving on from Byron and Burn, let's get into the heart of the podcast here, where we talk about whatever is on our mind, what we're playing, what's happening in gaming news. I don't know what the hell's going on. I feel like things happened since the last podcast, but I haven't really been paying attention. Blizzard hates America. Fallout 76 wants $100, and people are upset about that. Which just I'm not going to talk about that. But if you do the math on private server that 7 people can play on, and it's $99 over the course of a year, and you split that between, I don't know, 5 people, and only one person needs that subscription, that's not bad, people. Is it gross that they're asking that? Sure. But it's not that bad for an online game in a private server.
I think it's anything to do with that game. Like if...
Oh, for sure. Given that it was a hunk of shit, they probably should have just given that to people.
Yeah.
It's the least that they could do. We put out garbage, but we need $100 now a year from you.
So that was like the newest news, but I can't even remember what's been happening beyond that. I guess Call of Duty came out today.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Was anyone paying attention to that?
Yes, I was.
Nobody in the media was talking about it.
I was, but I did not buy it. But it looks really good.
I've literally never heard you utter the words Call of Duty in my life, Nate.
Because I've only played one. I've only played one Call of Duty, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Which one?
The Call of Duty one.
Yeah. Hashtag fake gamer.
There's the one where
they're all the Call of Duty ones.
It's the one that you're crawling. This is gonna sound stupid, but you're crawling through a field, and there's tanks and people walking, and you kind of have to. Which one is that? Modern Warfare.
Boy, that's gonna
Two?
that's gonna narrow it down. Tanks and people in a war game.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that was Call of Duty 3.
Yeah, it's modern. It was Modern Warfare. Was the one.
Okay.
And
so, then you played it because this is Modern Warfare 2 as well.
now
Yeah, why did they just call it Modern Warfare? I'm curious on that.
What else do you name them at this point, right?
I'm just really confused now. But
Call of Duty, who gives a fuck? That's the name.
I don't even know what their big thing is this year. Like last year was the Battle Royale thing. I don't know.
Right. I don't know if that made a return or not. Do they still have zombies? Because zombies turned into an annual thing instead of an every other year
Yeah.
thing. I know Justin texted me about it because he wants me to get it. And I'm like, I hadn't heard anything about this game coming out. And he's like, it's been hyped all over the place, which I don't know. I guess we're running in different circles. I'm sure people are, but he said they brought back the like survival like wave mode that was in Modern Warfare 3, I think it was. Where it was like you against like onslaughts and waves of like juggernauts and dogs and shit. And then Spec Ops also came back, which was kind of like the offline.
Sure.
Well, it wasn't offline. I think you could do it online, but it was like out of story mode, like individual missions,
Yeah.
which was also all right.
Yeah, those were fun.
So I just feel like this is going to be the least impactful Call of Duty to date. That's what the thing that made everybody forget about Call of Duty. Fortnite went away and came back. Got sucked into a black hole and crapped back out the other side.
Yep. New map.
Bots. Apparently it's quite good. You can carry bodies now.
Really?
And you can huck them. So you can grab a downed opponent and huck them into the storm if
Ooh.
you want, which is kind of cool. I don't play Fortnite, but people like it.
I just like to know about it so I seem cool to other people.
That's what I'm doing
Yeah.
right here.
that's
too.
exactly
It's
what I
also
was
why we're
trying.
talking about Call of Duty.
I put myself out there to talk about a modern
Oh, I'm sorry.
a modern
Did
game.
I cut you down on? I didn't mean to cut you down, man. I feel bad.
It's fine. It's fine.
No,
He-
no. You know what? Let's bring this back. Tell us all about your NBA 2K14. Let's talk about modern games. Let's get into that.
Not interesting.
How much did you pay for that again?
I didn't pay anything. It was for free.
See, now you're doing
It
it.
was for
Modern games.
free. Will I play it? Probably not. Although I have been playing the show 19, which is, I know, like, I don't know why. It was on PSN and I was like, okay, I'll download it because I want to play something. And I kind of got hooked on like creating your own player, and I chose to be a pitcher because you're going to play the most out of the whole game. So
Yeah.
that's what I did. And I've actually enjoyed it. Never played one before. So modern games, I'm just embracing it all, guys.
Sorry, I just woke back up. What were we talking about?
No, it's fun. I got that as well and was playing through it, and then I kind of started into like the card thing.
Cards.
Yeah, well, like you get like you make your own team, and you get cards, and you can get like old baseball players and new ones and good ones and bad ones, and of course, you buy packs and with real money, and it's like, okay, I'm out of here now.
One of those things.
I haven't explored any of that. So I've just been mindlessly pitching just for fun.
I
Have not been
Update on
playing
my
that.
no, updated my Mario Kart tour thing. So I got really into that, as we talked about in the last podcast, and I actually like blew through my entire data plan on my phone because I played it while shitting a lot. I poop a lot. That's probably not helpful. So that happened, and then, yeah, that sucked. But I did win the next series. I got number 1 again, and I had like this 3-day battle with this Shammy guy. Me and him were going head to head with top scores in my bracket, and I'd like. First, he won up me by like 5. I'm like, haha, I beat him by like 300 points. Then he came back like 700 over me, and I crushed him with like 1,000. It was good
I
times.
think that game's rigged, actually. So my son was like, hey, can I play this? And he got first place his first time playing it. I got first place the first time I played it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is
you
a
on
real
50cc though?
Yes.
Yeah, go to 150 and that changes.
Really?
Yes.
I figured I'm playing against like a whole bunch of 4-year-olds or something.
Well, probably, but I also, because I remember how I kept saying I never lost a race.
Yeah.
Well, I had never left 50cc, and I still haven't lost a race on 50cc. And I think you're right. I think they do use bots. But once you get to 150, like shit gets real. Like it's so much more the random like lottery of what you get for inventory items and like at the right time that will determine if you win. I mean, you need to race good too, but like your power ups make a huge difference.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm fine with just crushing it in 50cc. It makes me feel really good about myself because I typically lose most video games. So this is a time where I can just be on top and I'm killing it.
Nice. Yeah, so you're liking it now you've played a little bit?
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know if I should admit this, but I kind of sometimes sit at my desk and,
watch that data plan.
No, I'm on the Wi-Fi.
You're on the Wi-Fi?
I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Smart man.
So
smart man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come over and have my lunches with you. You can set up like a local hotspot.
Please do. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's do it.
Every time I play it, I've had the same experience where I'm trying to figure out if you're actually racing against real people or not.
They did have a news story break saying that like there were fake people that appeared to be online players.
Oh, really?
Okay. Nintendo has in some of the races, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it doesn't make me like it anymore.
What does that say about our confidence in gaming if we're like, we're not this good to get first place?
Well, I think it's all about that like ego, like risk reward, like, that fuzzy feeling you get from winning. Cause like, why did Fortnite do it? Cause it's not fun when your newcomers come in and get stomped. Mm-hmm. But hey, if you can see that this guy's stats are bad and fill him with a bunch of dum-dums to shoot, you feel a little bit better and you keep coming back. You know what I mean?
Especially free to play. You make them look like you're dominant right away. And then as you slowly lose your dominance, you're like, well, now I got to pay to stay on top.
Yep.
Apex Legends. Come on. I could have been somebody.
Dude, we should fire that back up. I really want to play that new map.
All right. Yeah, let's just shut the podcast off. I'm over it.
Yeah. Did you ever download that, Andy?
No, I haven't. But I watched a few matches on it.
It's fun. I mean, I only got 2 kills or 3 kills max for as long as I've been playing it.
Yeah. That's where I wish that had a solo mode, because that's the game where like I always feel like I'm weighing other people down. And usually like people just run off if you get paired up.
Is that why you play with me?
What do you mean?
Because you feel like you're weighing everyone down, and then you're like, let's just invite Nate. So
I feel better about with myself. You, it's like we both suck. But then we were asking Justin to play with us. Then he was having to try and carry both of us, and I felt really bad about it.
And then he's out. He's like, all right, this is my last match. See you guys. And
with
then
you
he
guys.
Logs out, and then he jumps right back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Justin.
Poor Justin's got to carry our weight.
Yeah, there's like a zombie one now too, right? Like you.
Yeah. Apparently they did the same thing that Titanfall 2 multiplayer did, where it's like you kill people, they turn to zombies, and the last 10 survivors have to find a safe path to the evac, which I don't know if you guys either played Titanfall 2 online much, but that's how the multiplayer ended. Was the match ends, you either win or lose, but then you still have to get your character to the evac thing, which is like this cool last scramble. So yeah, they just kind of took those mechanics, but it seems like it'd be fun. And that I think is solo. That mode.
Yeah. I know they made a solo normal one too, but I don't know if they shut that down already or not.
Okay. I just wish they would throw that in as an option. I mean, I could get maybe you don't want to come off squads of 3, but just throw a solo in. What's that going to matter? Mm-hmm. Limit the characters if the character balancing is a problem. Like only let people take 1 or 2. I mean, who cares?
Yep.
Have you played Outer Worlds? Because I feel like that's the game that you should be talking about this week.
I know it isn't out on. Last time I checked, it's not on Game Pass yet, and I'm waiting for it.
No, but they were quick to announce it.
Yeah,
though.
So it will be on there whenever that happens, and then I'll definitely be on there. That's why I was like so amazed that Fallout was like, yeah, we have a paid option now, and it's like you said this like right when the makers of Fallout New Vegas are launching their game, like. You're going to lose a lot of your guys over to that game already. You don't need to say, well, now we're adding a paid thing. But
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that game because it sounds like it's New Vegas all over again, and I love it.
Well, and everything I've heard is that like it's a shorter game. Like, sure, you can knock it out in like 20 hours, but
man.
like
Great.
the content end to end is like there's no bullshit. Like, it's all just like really good, meaningful interactions. You know, obviously it's a game you could draw out if you wanted to and spend way more time in, but that's kind of cool to get a game like that isn't going to require you to throw 100 hours into it.
That's where, like, Fallout 4, I didn't like Fallout 4 because it was just too big, too much going on.
Yeah.
Too many systems.
Is, speaking of Game Pass, is Killer Queen Black on there yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Have you guys?
I know that
you have it on Switch yet?
That came out digitally last week, and it came out digitally last week, and it came out physically today. So I've been meaning to go buy it on Switch. I heard there's some issues with local co-op, like controls and stuff, but I still plan to pick it up.
I've always wanted to play that game. Like, anytime you go to a barcade, it's there. It's just intimidating because there's so many spots for players and it's a massive game. I definitely want to
we should
try
probably
it.
context anytime you go to a barcade with like there's 30 of these machines in the whole country, so maybe not any barcade.
Well, I mean, it's extremely
Our local
intimidating
barcade.
though. I mean, especially when you don't know how to play, but you need so many players, and people are like, "Oh, jump in." It is that like gamer confidence. You're like, I don't want to bring you guys down. I'll just watch.
Was that you and me the one night we were at Pixeled and like some guy invited us to come over and play, and then when we lost, he just yelled, "Suck it, nerds"?
No, that was not me.
Oh. Yeah, it was really weird. The guy was like super nice and like, "Yeah, we got the money. Like, come play." And then we lost, and he's just, "Suck it, nerds." I'm like, "Oh, all right, thanks, I guess."
So you did?
No, I just walked away with my head down in defeat.
Oh, okay.
And then I went back.
I remember going there and the guy invited us to play, but I never did.
Yeah. Apparently Monday nights it's like free play.
I go there to play the games.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Darius Burst cabinet as far as I'm concerned. Like,
so good.
Great game.
I want one.
Have you played the one on the Sega? On the Mini?
No,
is that one good?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
I still have only used the controllers for that thing.
Yeah.
So have I. My Mini is like somewhere in a box back there. But
my Mini's in my pants.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We just made everyone uncomfortable, right?
Everyone knows what they got into with this thing. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
My Mini's in my pants.
Yeah. No, I had every intention of hooking it up and playing it, and Nate, I can understand why he hasn't with his game room rearrangement, but I just have not. I have not had time to play games at all. Just been unbelievable. It's this time of year too. You get like fall weather, everyone gets cold, you're feeling like crap. I've been going to bed at like 9:00 lately. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Is there something that you want to play though? That you're like, I want to get to this, but you just haven't?
I have this massive VR backlog because I've been buying VR games as I found them on clearance, which I found quite a few in the past like 3 months. Been buying them in flash sales. So I'm like 15 VR games deep that I just cannot muster the energy or willpower to like pull that thing out,
everything in,
hook it on. Yeah, I'm just like, I could do all that, or I could just go to sleep and then I go to bed. It's like 9.
One of the Quest commercial, Oculus. Was it Quest or Oculus? Yeah. One of the commercials, it was on TV, and Amber, my wife, she's like, "You should get that.
Yes.
There's no wires or anything." Right. And she's like, that looks easier. And I'm like, yeah, I think it might be.
And now with the Rift Link, like, there's no reason not to get it if you have a PC that can run that, because it'll run every game in the Rift well. Like, it's incredible.
How's the resolution compared to the PlayStation though? Isn't the PlayStation a little bit better?
God, I gotta imagine they're probably about on par. I mean, it's not like the resolution of the PS4
they're probably
is good.
Similar.
Like the PSVR is like pretty minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd find it to be pretty good. I mean, I can't say for sure. I've never used it, but I can't imagine it's worse.
It's just a Beat Saber machine, anyways.
Really, that's what VR is. Yeah, I agree.
They're still adding new free songs to that.
Really?
Every time you boot it up, there's some new tracks. Yeah.
Nice. I would love to get back into that. But again, laziness.
Yeah. The difficulty curve has definitely changed too. Like the new ones are incredibly hard. Like I can't hardly beat them on normal. It's nuts. There was a game on Game Pass that just showed up, was a mountain biking game where you take different sections down a mountain. It's really like flat colored, minimal polygon type thing. And I probably played a half hour of it. Thought it was kind of fun. There's different paths, you know, some of them are more dangerous, more risk reward type thing. And
I don't mind that kind of stuff. I feel like that's kind of like a genre that gets overlooked too often, is just like all the kind of like off-brand racing games. In fact, somebody commented on our YouTube channel on that 989 thing about how much they love Jet Moto. And it just kind of gets you thinking, it's like, why has stuff like that dropped off? Like, why isn't there a spiritual successor? There's no like oddball racing games anymore.
True.
I mean, maybe there's not a market for it. There's no arcades to port from, but it seems like there's got to be something in between Forza and like, I guess, well, what was that one that flopped last year? Like
Onrush.
Onrush.
It's kind of racing. It's just the game modes are different.
But yeah, that's cool. Is that just like an indie game? This isn't like a physical release?
Yeah, it's very much indie game, and like you're racing against the clock and how many crashes and that type of thing more than actual racing.
That's cool though.
Yeah. Something easy to throw in and play. But yeah, that is kind of crazy. Like even Wipeout, they don't really make that anymore.
No.
Or, you know, any futurist F-Zero is long gone.
Yep. Yeah, other than kart racers. And we still get the Sega and the Mario Karts, but I don't know honestly what Nintendo's going to do after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because I don't know that you can make a better Mario Kart game than Mario Kart 8. Like I even feel like the base Mario Kart 8 was phenomenal. So like, do you need to make a Mario Kart 9 at all for the Switch, or can you just continue to sell that thing for the next 3-4 years? I don't know.
Do you make Super Smash Kart? Because they were starting to get that way at the end.
Yeah, maybe they'll do some more character packs or something.
Yeah.
I think we should talk a little bit about a game that nobody cares about, but it's just funny how they released it. Is the WWE 2K20? Have you been following that on Twitter and social media, and just how broken this game is and the issues that they're having, and this horrible game, if that's what you want to even call it. I mean, some of the graphics that they're showing, it looks like it's from the Nintendo 64. Yeah. Like just very like not smooth edges or anything like that. But finally 2K says that they've acknowledged that there are some problems with the game, which is just hilarious because the whole thing is a problem. Now I don't play the games. I've never played them. But I just find it interesting, some of these game developers and the pressure that they're under, just like trying to get a game out by a certain deadline, especially like these sports games that they're coming out every single year in a way, and they're trying to make something new and fresh, and they're just throwing trash out and then hoping that they can patch it later, which is really interesting.
There was some word out of the dev that they brought on to do this. And they basically said, like, we had a bunch of ideas and we could make a better game. We just weren't allowed to. So it's just all about that license, and they don't give a shit because they know that they can put out hot trash and X amount of people will buy it. So why spend more money on making something that functions?
Yeah.
Which is sad.
From my take, like the previous developer barely worked on it this year. And it's probably like the scraps of whatever's left of the NBA team that's doing this. And it's like, yeah, they know that, you know, 70% of WWE fans that buy these are going to buy it no matter what the game is like. So why not just do
Right.
it?
Yep.
It's pretty bad when hashtag fix WWE 2K20 is trending on Twitter. That's not good promotion for your product.
The glitches are
sorry.
amazing though.
Oh yeah, like people will do a body slam and then they're underneath the whole ring and you can't get out. You're like stuck in this like black box. From my understanding, it's pretty hilarious. But I think it's just great that they're like, we're listening very closely to feedback. Okay, well, there's plenty of it, so you guys better get to work. But they're going to be patching something in a couple weeks, which I don't know if that's going to fix anything or not. Which is kind of interesting.
I don't see them actually putting the resources in to fully fix any of it.
Yeah, what's
it'll
the
just
point?
it'll just be knocked down to $20 by Black Friday, and that'll be it. So
$20 is still way too much money.
not if you're a hardcore WCW fan. You need it.
I'd pay what I wouldn't even pay what I got my NBA 2K for. Free.
I think all those people that are like super hardcore into wrestling and like good wrestling games have all been like on the Fire Pro bandwagon like the last couple of years. So
Or Nintendo 64.
yeah, are still with it. Yep.
That's the only one I've ever played was like Mayhem or something like that on 64.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just do a battle royale and have as many like 50 people all in one ring, which was really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, glitches are one thing, but like the likenesses of some of the people that they have in there and like the textures and stuff, it's amazing that they didn't do anything. Like there's the lowest amount of effort in some of that stuff.
And it's so inconsistent. So they showed like some side by sides where there are people that look really good. And then you get someone that's probably more popular than that person and they look like garbage.
They look like they were made in The Sims pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
The Last of Us 2 is being pushed back some more. Ghost of Tsushima 2 is pushed back to late 2020, which that'll probably be.
I think the real news here is that we're like a week away from being able to like really know what Death Stranding is,
Yeah.
which I think is far more exciting than anything we could possibly talk about right now.
Yeah, I think I might have to get that game. Unless the reviews come out like so negatively. But
yeah, it could go either way. I don't think there's going to be a lot of middle ground on this one. I think it's going to be pretty polarizing. Either people love it for how fucked up it is, or it's just going to get destroyed. Is my guess.
yeah. Sometimes those are must-play games, though, then.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was also, I guess, we're late to it now because of how we record. Like, timing-wise, we kind of missed it, but... and maybe it was available the last time we talked, but we didn't touch on it, is that PlayStation Now got slashed to just... Or did we talk about this? $9.99?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we did, but yeah, it's not a bad price. It's $100 a year, I think, too.
Yeah. $100 a year. Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah. Or maybe it was 60. I don't even remember. It was cheap. They significantly cut the price on it, I think, because Game Pass is obviously eating its lunch.
Yeah. And it will continue to. But at least they've got something that's like plausibly comparable now in price. So
yeah. I just don't think they have the marketing and they haven't put themselves out there as much as Game Pass has.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the only thing that Xbox can market, because like it's kind of their one strength right now.
Yeah.
Certainly not their console install base.
No. It's funny how much Stadia has kind of like put a damper on people. Like people are just kind of like, what is this thing? And oh, you have to buy the games, and that almost the other two companies are barely talking about streaming at all. Even like PlayStation's giving out huge like amounts of information about their next console. I don't think they mentioned streaming at all.
Yeah. I'm so eager for next year and just like the media fervor that's going to take place with a new console launch.
Yep.
It's going to be fun to just kind of sit back and take that all in. So, we don't have a whole lot of news to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about? The current state of retro collecting and all of the people leaving collecting and me contemplating drastically scaling down my entire collection.
Don't do it. It just raises my blood pressure and gets me all nervous. You're collecting for a reason. You're not collecting for a financial
I
gain.
collected for a reason.
And now you're over it.
I achieved everything I set out to do. I have
so let's sell it.
Every Holy Grail console. That's the realization of I can still love the games, play them on original hardware through EverDrives or various other, well, through EverDrives in that case, or sometimes hacking and modding, and not having to have a bunch of what is essentially very expensive wallpaper is starting to make more and more sense, especially as some of these consoles are coming over the bubble. So why sit on them until nobody wants them? I don't want to find myself being an Atari VCS collector in 20 years, essentially, which is, if I was sitting on a full Atari VCS set, I mean, what would you guys say to me? Like, that's cool, good job, man, good for you. But like, nobody else cares.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like the goal of what you did, right? Like, you still did it, so it was important to you.
Yeah, and it is. The games are important.
Yeah.
Is the physical thing important?
Yeah.
And then there's also the other blade of the mission, like the experiences I had with those games seemed much more genuine when they were mine. And I feel like that shifted over many, many years of collecting, especially once I got to YouTube. I don't know. It changes like some of that.
You know, there is obviously, I mean, you collect primarily for the NES. I mean, that's probably your biggest passion, but I mean, there is a decline in interest, I think, for the NES because they're kind of moving on to I guess the next generation of collectors are going to be in that PlayStation era. You know, we saw that with the Nintendo 64 and probably currently with the Nintendo 64 that people are kind of going crazy for that stuff. We saw that with Super Nintendo and, you know, so on and so forth. But I think I still feel that because the NES was kind of this big pioneer for video games, I still feel that the interest is going to still be there 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Because I think nostalgia keeps on rolling around. You know, it keeps on coming back. It keeps on coming back. People that might not have interest now will be like, oh, I remember when I got that in 1985. I would love to find that. And then it's going to just spark an interest.
I think there is like a tipping point though. Like, not that it's a collectible, tangible thing. Well, it kind of is, but like, look at Graceland. Look at Elvis Presley. Like, it will get there. NES will get there. Like, I don't know. It's gonna take a nosedive. And then the other thing is like, you know, I always did a lot of it as like preservationist. Like, oh, I need to. This is nobody cares. Like, people have done this better than me. There are organizations that are doing this better than me. Like, what am I accomplishing by hoarding all of these carts that will eventually not work someday? But
again, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for you or for everyone else?
Even if I was doing it for me, that was a main motivator. So why keep all of it?
Yeah,
I'm not preserving anything. I can enjoy their preservation and not have a bunch of shit in my house. Well, I mean, I'll still have shit in my house because I poop it. So do my cats.
I'll be over with some boxes and I'll help you take care of that. Just wipe out the nostalgia.
I mean, for me, it was when the journey changed, like the hunt changed, I guess.
Yes.
That's where
Drastically.
interest has changed in collecting, for me at least. Not being able to go out and find those good deals and find those treasures just out in the middle of nowhere, anywhere.
Right.
It really puts a damper on the whole thing, I think. Once you're buying it on eBay and it's just you're paying retail price, there's just something like cold about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to get you in front of a garage sale with boxes and boxes of stuff for 50 cents. That will ignite the passion again.
I don't know.
Just make me sad. Depressed.
Dude, I've talked you off the ledge too. I made you not sell all your Super Nintendo games that you now no longer have. So I helped you and hurt you at the same time.
I want those back.
I mean, my love.
If you're listening to this and you have my Super Nintendo stuff,
yeah.
I will come find you and break your legs.
I mean, my love of video games and enjoyment playing them has almost nothing to do with the tangible sense of like owning 400 games for a system, and I'd never played those 400 games or heard of most of them in my entire life.
I go in waves for sure, but I still get very excited to even have games that I'm not going to play. I love everything about them. I love having them, like the tangible. I'm completely opposite of you, I guess, but I like to see them. I like to remember finding them or buying them, or, you know, a lot of games I bought with you guys on different trips or whatever. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Tells a story.
But I still get to keep all of that, minus the holding it in my hand like once every 5 months when I dust off the shelf, if I sell it.
Then you're just going to continue to lose interest, get less excited. Then you're going to get penny loafers. You're going to go golfing.
I could golf.
And you're never going to play video games again. You're going to like take up bowling.
Yeah.
You know,
I already did. The Professional Bowlers Association, it's coming up. I don't know. I'm just at the point where what once seemed exciting and thrilling and engaging is now just like, I just have a lot of stuff that I love and is awesome. And I got all these cool stories about where I got them, and I got to play all these games. But they don't perpetually like radiate like happiness. I mean, I don't know.
Gosh.
I'm trying to be a logical adult about the situation. I mean, my collecting exploded wildly over the years. When it was like much more pointed, it was different. But
yeah, I mean, there's definitely times that you need to pare down a collection for sure. But I think if you're in the same mood that you're in right now and you start paring down the stuff you don't really care about, you're going to be, let's just get rid of it all then.
Right. Well, and that's what I think I could do. I think I could unload PS2, because I never meant to get back into collecting for PS2, because as much as I loved it and I had a bunch of nostalgia for it, the games that I would want to play on it, even in 10 years, I could buy those back for like $50, all of them, because they're not going to gain. I wasn't the guy playing the rare games. Like the PS2 is never going. It's the most produced console ever. You know, I mean, it's not going to be hard to get that stuff. You know, on the Xbox, you know, I've got some things in there that like, sure, I love them, but if I don't play them, what's the point? Halo, I can play a million different ways now, so I could get rid of that. I kept a lot of 360 stuff thinking I would go back to it. I'm not going to. And if I did, I could do that again cheaply 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
And the Saturn, I've liked the stuff I've picked up, but like that is so cost prohibitive that getting beyond like shovelware shit games or like the odd import that you find fun is never going to be a long-term thing. My Wonder Swan, like that's super cool. I'm not gonna play that.
What about the Jaguar?
I can't lose my baby. Can't. I prize that collection.
How do you get rid of
over
everything
my
else and
NES?
you keep that turd?
What? How dare you, sir? How dare
Jaguar's
you?
garbage.
Do the math,
It's garbage.
Nate. It is great.
It's garbage.
Oh. Don't listen to me, baby.
When I
He's never
played that
talking
for the
about it.
first time at your house, I wanted to throw up. It was so bad.
That's why it's good. It's the El Viento of consoles.
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm just saying I'm looking at my collection in a different light. My love of all of it has nothing to do with being able to throw it all in a pile and roll around on it naked,
I'm doing
which
that.
I only do twice a year anyway, so yeah, it's fine. I don't have to pick butt nuggets out of my cartridges when I play them next, so fine.
I'm not coming over to play any games.
Because I mean, it's got to be different for you too, Andy, right? Like once you turned it into like a business, like your primary business for those couple of years, like that had to change like your tangible attachment to a lot of what comes and goes through your doors.
Oh, for sure. But at that time, it was like, well, I'll get it again, right? Like it's just
Right.
it's gonna keep coming through or whatever, and I'll grab it next time. But it hasn't now, so I do when you do find something special and it's at a great price and you found it, on the hunt, that's still a lot of fun for me, I think.
When I hear you say on the hunt, I just hear that guitar riff like starting to churn up in the back of my head.
We're not bringing that
it
back though.
Gotta bring it back. Come on.
No, it would just be me like, no, didn't find anything here.
But do you find yourself like lacking in any way because like you at one time had a game that now goes for $700? Like knowing that you got that experience, like is there regret or are you fine with it? Like having just gotten to experience it.
I think like having that experience is probably the dopamine, I guess,
Right.
more than anything. But I never got, I was constantly selling through too, so it wasn't getting to a point where I was really collecting something, I mean, I guess I have pretty much almost a complete set of Wii U, but that's not, I kind of fell into that.
I thought you do.
So
Are you
easy.
one short?
I don't know. I think I need the last Just Dance, but
I just saw that somewhere.
yeah, I'm waiting for it to get like $20. But
Yeah, talk about a console whose game prices took a nosedive. Like inflated to like insane levels for about 18 months. And then just once the port again started to switch, they just completely like all of it, even the stuff that didn't get ported nosedived. It's crazy.
Yep.
Still a great console. Totally underrated.
Oh, I love the Wii U. But
And
I'd be, it's not something like super special to me like you
Right.
guys have the NES, It's not the same thing, but
I think that's a console where if I pared down, I'd have to keep like the 10 experiences that really can only work with the Wii U because there are a handful of them.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably where I would get as I start selling these out. Like, let's be honest, I'm not going to get rid of Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. I'm probably not going to get rid of the Turtles trilogy. Well, I take that back. I'll get rid of Turtles 1. But I'll keep the other two, like stuff like that. I would keep the stuff that actually meant something to me from my childhood. But if I was to stop beyond that, I don't think I'd miss a lot of it because I have other ways to play it. I can still experience it in the comfort of my game room. And and that's kind of, God, that's where it got to me too. It's like when I started hacking the classic and you start getting the EverDrives, like for these consoles, I have the physical games, but I'm not pulling them out to play them, right? I'm playing the game I already own in a different way. That's way more convenient. So then, technically I'm not legally doing it if I don't own the physical cart, but I don't know. Maybe I'm maturing in my old age is all I'm saying. Or maybe I'm becoming more cynical. Or maybe hanging around with you two and doing this podcast is wearing me down.
I think part of it is the stress of like you hear prices are going down, right? That definitely is. It's like if you're going to get out, you have to get out now. Like that's
Well, and I have the benefit
kind of
of
the
like
thought, right?
I have the benefit of, for the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, I bought these like 4 pennies on the dollar. So like
Yeah.
I could probably wait 10 years and still come up. Well, I know for sure I'd still come up cash ahead for what I've put into my NES collection and a lot of this other stuff. So that doesn't bother me as much, but it's like, yeah, the market will go along with that. Like once the prices go down and like, cause already people aren't like gravitating towards NES. It's like, if you want to find a buyer and just get rid of this stuff. And the other part is too, is like, and I've done this more recently in the last year where I've traded off stuff that I thought was amazing. But like, if I'm not using it and someone can appreciate it more, that's really where that stuff belongs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
my game room.
Oh gosh.
I
Nate,
appreciate everything that you have, except for your Jaguar.
well, and that's why I will never sell you anything I have, because you insulted my baby.
I forgot to tell you, I love the Jaguar. Love everything
Okay,
about
well,
it.
now we're talking. Bust open that checkbook, back up in the driveway. Let's get this going. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I mean, these guys know, and I don't talk about it on the podcast, but I've been like here off and on over the last 2 years. But this feels more like the right time. I would like a very curated collection of really sick games that I love, instead of walls of things that I think are very cool and somebody else would probably actually play.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think so either.
There's everything wrong with that. I'm bitter.
I have walls behind me of stuff nobody wants and nobody wants to play. So
You get some Japanese Saturn.
yeah.
I want some of that. As I unload mine.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just Ryan's depressing corner there. That's the bit we're going to call that. So
That could change next week though too.
it could. And like I said, my love of gaming and like the nostalgia and all the fun I've had doing it still never goes away, but maybe I get some square footage back in my basement. That's all. The real problem then is like, what if I really go hard back into YouTube? Because no one's going to watch some guy standing in front of empty shelves. Like, that's gaming channel 101. If you don't have like a sick stack of fucking bullshit behind you, nobody's going to listen to you.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
I'd be fucked.
Green screen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's all I do.
Take a picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to bring you down, guys. Sorry to bring you
I'm
down.
pissed now. Thanks.
I like that Andy can be like, yeah, I can see your logic. And
No.
Nate's just like, you stupid son of a bitch.
Now you're a traitor. Getting kicked off the show.
Hey, it would at least end our like frenemies like thing when we go out hunting. Where
We
like,
have no frenemies. We're
Dude,
not frenemies.
I am genuinely not happy for you when you find a game that I also need that you found first. It really
I
does.
love that part.
It does
That's my
cut to the.
favorite
It
part.
cuts to the core of me. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie.
It
anymore.
bugs you more than it bugs me.
And it bugs me that it doesn't bug you. And it makes it so much worse.
That's the highlight of going game hunting with you.
That last time we were at Pond America and you like found the NES games and I basically just like fucking steamrolled you and started flipping through everything right in front of you. I was like, well, hey, what are you doing?
Literally like pushed me,
Uh,
physically pushed me out of the way.
luckily for our friendship, there was like Jack and shit there. So yeah, no, I enjoy it. And I mean, it's not like I'm not going to still go game hunt, but even like,
What are you going to buy? What are you going to buy?
But I don't have to buy it, right? It's cool just to find it. And if I find something good at a good price, I can still pick it up and give it to other people that I know who will want it and sell it to them at a reasonable price. It's not like
My
I'm
game
price
room?
gouging.
It's like catch and release.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I am the PETA of video games collecting.
Yeah.
So we'll see. This could just be a conversation that goes absolutely nowhere. So just figured I would horrify our audience and bring that up.
and me.
I don't think you're alone. I see a lot of people selling collections as a whole right now.
I mean, we saw that at MGC.
Mm-hmm.
The guy fire sailing for whatever reason.
The bad news is here is like what would happen for me is I'm going to box everything up catalog it and then give it to Andy and be like, "Hey, buddy, want to sell all these
Sell
for
it
me,
to
buddy?"
Nate. And then I'll sell it to Nate.
Damn it!
Full circle.
Take a 20% cut too.
Uh,
I mean, that's the thing is like I don't have the stomach to like throw the stuff on Facebook and eBay and like all that myself. So like, yeah, I'd have to do something.
You're making me nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I'm sweating right now.
I'll still play games.
Stop.
What does me having less games have to make you nervous about?
I'm never gonna come over to your house then. That's the only reason I come over is in hopes to steal things.
Well, that hurts. The lack of respect, that's what hurts the most. Yeah. Regardless, even if this purge never happens, I have things that I am going to start selling off because if things have been sitting in the corner of my like put away pile for 4 months and I haven't turned them on or used them, like my Sega Nomad, like I love that Sega Nomad. That's cool as hell. I've looked for a Sega Nomad for years. It's sitting in a Ziploc bag on a pile of other shit like that. That's not what that Nomad deserves. That Nomad deserves to be cherished and played with.
I think that is the Nomad thing though. Like I am biggest Sega fan as you can get, and that I had the same experience. Like I finally have a Genesis on the go and it's like, nah, didn't use it.
Yeah, like I'm good.
Yep.
Especially now when you can get that like amazing at games one, you know, for way cheaper.
Well, this time the Redskins put a spy on Dak Prescott. He starts to come and then he pulls out and his eyes are just locked.
All right, moving on to the failbag, where we answer 20-year-old questions from old gaming magazines as if they were addressed to us. I'm in Nintendo Power, October 95. Karen from Oakland says, "Oh, woe was me. It looks like I will have to keep my Virtual Boy in my room all the time in order to keep it out of the hands of my game-crazy little brother. That's because I read that Virtual Boy should only be played by people 7 years old or older. Still, I want to know, how come you don't want young children playing Virtual Boy?"
Because their eyes will bleed.
And Nintendo dislikes
science.
lawsuits. Yeah, you're not taking your younger brother up to like the grocery checkout, grabbing his face and slamming it down on that scanner, are you? Hell no. Don't let him play the Virtual Boy. Same technology. Little known fact. If you run a UPC through a Virtual Boy lens, it will beep and ring up the total.
That's like a nice little hack.
Yeah. Dual purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was mostly because of that, right?
Yeah.
Developing eyes.
Yeah, eye strain, young kids. What are you going to do? Same warnings with the 3DS when that came out, so.
Or maybe they knew how bad the Virtual Boy was and they didn't want to taint the younger minds of their next generation of customers.
They didn't want to keep on making them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they didn't want more people to gain interest.
Also,
Yep.
Karen, you have to ask yourself the question, do you really want a blind younger brother that you're going to have to care for? I mean, sure, you might get one of those sweet, like, companion dogs to have in your house and, like, a new friend there, but it's just going to be a whole lot more work for you. Just keep it in your room.
Yeah. You know how awesome that would be, though, to get a present like that? Like a video game
dog
console?
or a virtual, okay.
No, if you got that for Christmas or something, and then you said, you can't play it. It says so on the box. You know, only you can play it. That's pretty awesome, actually.
That's right. And not like the neighbor kid who was a few years older than me and told me that I couldn't play his Nintendo because the games were in the closet, and he also trapped like an invisible phantom in the closet that wanders freely around the room, and if it touched me, I would die instantly. So you don't have to make up dumb stories like that to terrify little kids. You can just
You got
point
a
to the
dark
past
life,
of the
man.
box. You know, it wasn't that dark. I just realized that I was a very stupid and gullible little kid. And he was a very
Do
intelligent
you still get a little
teenager.
hesitant around closets? You get a little nervous still?
No, I've come out of those many years ago, so we're
You've
good.
come out of the closet?
Yep. My phantom is released from the closet. And so are those NES games.
It's better to be safe than sorry, though, in a lot of those situations.
Right.
I mean, we're talking
Phantoms
about
in
phantoms here.
closets, going blind. I mean, this is deep stuff, people.
Yep. All right, we got Greg from New York. He says, I followed the warning on the scratch and sniff Earthbound packet enclosed in Nintendo Power 74. Yuck. Those scratch and sniff things reeked. If you're going to put a scratch and sniff packet in another issue of Nintendo Power, make it smell like marshmallows or grapes.
It's a very exact request.
Yeah, I don't know if I can tell you the smell of grapes or marshmallows. Like if I didn't know
This
it.
guy's a murderer.
Yeah.
So he can.
What?
Said he's a murderer.
I know,
It's
but
crazy.
how did you get to that conclusion?
Just because only a murderer would say, I know the smell of grapes. It's very clear. Obviously, you don't watch enough
Of
TV
course,
to,
yes.
to
No,
help you.
you're right.
I think he's more of a grapist at that point.
Ew. Oh, we said grape ape.
Yeah.
I
I don't remember
scratch
what
and
those
sniff.
were. Yeah, that's true. Nothing does it anymore.
No. Now we just have like fart flavored jelly beans and stuff. That's not nearly as fun. Once smelly objects enter your mouth, like it just changes the whole experience. Like
Mhm.
scratch and sniff, you can walk away.
Yeah. I don't have a great nose in the first place, but some of those definitely did smell.
Yeah. Do you suppose that's like why do you suppose that went away? Like, is it like a hygienic thing? Like you don't want a bunch of people's noses in books and shit,
Yeah,
or
and
what?
sniffing, yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand. Should bring it back. I feel like you don't even get those like cologne and
Oh yeah.
perfume samples and stuff like you used to.
Jesus, those magazines my mom used to get, you get the mailbox and it smelled so bad in there because every other page was a
Right?
perfume thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they used to mail you out like little bottles of like detergent and like dish
Oh,
soap
yeah.
and like what happened? Let's make mail great again. That's what I'm getting at.
There we go. Instead of like AOL discs, we'll just send out your PS2 games to people randomly.
This is a great idea.
I have no idea what this means, but James from Texas says, a few days ago, I read the letter section of the June issue of Nintendo Power and saw Rick's innocent letter about how 8-year-old kids shouldn't send in letters with pictures of Game Boy bread. I like that loaf of bread, and I'm sure many people felt the same way. Nintendo is for all ages, and so is this magazine, so I want to tell people with pictures of things to send Nintendo Power and send them in. I also don't care if someone is tired of hearing about pets who love Nintendo just as much as we do. I like reading letters like that too.
I am
What?
confused on so many levels with your letter.
Yeah, what's bread?
Why is
Oh,
it
you-
inappropriate
the
for
Game Boy.
kids?
Yeah, back in the day, there was just, before Twitter and all this could really get on the case of things. I guess you had to spend months talking about Game Boy bread.
What pets love Nintendo?
And what is bread?
Well, it's this thing, you see. You slice it. Put
Wow.
peanut butter and jelly on it. But yeah, I'm confused by Game Boy bread and what made it inappropriate.
I feel like you have to look up the issue.
Seems like a lot of work.
We're going
I
to have
guess-
to follow that up.
Yeah.
Well,
that
if you
might
know,
be
you can
next
just
time.
send us an email. They should just send us an email.
I think we should have like a bake-off. The best Game Boy bread you can make.
Retro Bake Off.
Yep.
Theme it after a game, so you've got to make like Tetris bread or.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going for.
I would just make the long one.
I'm doing cool spot bread. Secret ingredient 7-Up.
Ooh.
I whispered it because it's secret. And like, can I just please state that, like, I, for one, along with all the rest of the readers for the fine Nintendo Power magazine, nobody cares about pets loving Nintendo. Also, so please don't write those in. Thank you.
Your pets do not have the mental capacity to know if they like Nintendo or not.
Yes. When your pet wipes its own ass, it can then love Nintendo.
They do on your carpet.
Oh. I don't know if that's a qualifier for me.
What if they wipe it with Nintendo Power?
Better. Sega Vision. I'll accept that.
I feel like most of these, like, I think we've talked about this before, but it's like all about like, see, I'm not alone. There's other things that like video games too. And people are just so desperate that they're like, yeah, my pets love it too.
Is it not okay that other human beings like video games? Is that not enough of an inclusive group? My other people in my species enjoy these as well.
Yep. I think these are one of my favorite things to read are like these prizes that they give away in Nintendo Power. It's just like all random stuff that like they throw together. Like they can get
Nintendo powered lanyard.
Yeah.
Lip balm.
Or like the Miracle Piano and Will Smith.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Eric from California, he won the Volume 65 Grand Prize winner. He got to hobnob with NFL's finest at the Troy Aikman Foundation Celebrity Golf Tournament in Dallas. Eric served as Troy's honorary caddy, which, when you think about it, is a lot more fun than being his honorary left tackle.
That's not a prize. That's a job.
Yeah.
Hey, young kid, you're going to walk miles and miles carrying my heavy clubs.
Nothing
Kid.
to do with the video game.
Right. Do you love football? Too bad. Go play golf. He doesn't get to play. He just lugs around the dude's bag.
He's got some 6-year-old just dragging the whole bag behind him because he can't even. They're taller than him.
And Troy Aikman's just like belittling him. Like, no, I said 2 wood, you stupid son of a bitch. Is that an actual club I'm just making up? I don't know anything about golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Nailed it. 2 wood.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems like it's such a bizarre thing. I won a grand prize. They're flying me out so I can caddy a golf bag for this NFL player because I'm a winner. I don't get it.
Yeah. I feel like half of these things are just like they call somebody up in a PR department and they're like, well, he's really booked, but we could fit him in here.
It's so strange.
We have this laying around. We could give it to him.
Like, I wonder if like Sega at the same time was like giving away grand prizes to like go to Shaquille O'Neal's house and like plunge his toilets or something.
Oh my God. What do you think Shaq's toilet looks like?
It's gotta be huge.
Yeah, he can't be just because I don't want to imagine Shaq in a normal sized toilet. He's got to be.
It takes like 200 eco-friendly toilets to offset the amount of water that a normal flush from Shaq's toilet has to use.
Yeah. Yeah, the pipe's got to be pretty big, I would imagine. Eric, he did end up going to Six Flags over Texas and a Texas Rangers game.
Oh, okay.
Baseball, which has nothing to do with football again.
At least he got to enjoy it, not clean up after it or participate in menial tasks.
Poor Troy Aikman, though, too. Like, he's got to deal with this kid all day long. Has nothing in common with him because he's just a video gamer.
They don't cut our hobby down. Video gamers are people too.
close.
Yeah, that's true. It counts.
We got Sarah from Minnesota. She says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of video games always showing girls in dresses with big pink bows in their hair. I mean, come on. In real life, we are far from being the delicate, prissy, male-dependent bimbos that the big companies seem to think we are. We don't need a male to save us every 5 minutes, and we don't scream at every spider that passes us by. And most of us prefer not to waltz around in the little string bikinis. And as far as video games go, the girls in my 6th grade class can take any challenge the boys can dish out. Our game of choice isn't Barbie either. It's Earthworm Jim, DKC, Killer Instinct, and Star Fox.
Wow.
Well,
those are some hardcore titles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that your choice wasn't Barbie, because that is Nate's.
That's my jam.
Barbie and the NES is where he thrives.
I've played that whole game multiple times.
I know.
Love it.
Still impresses me.
Hey, Barbie's my girl.
I feel like the archetype of females in video games got better over time, but I think there was also a graphical. It's still bad. I know it's still bad, but like I think in that era, like 8 and 16-bit, I think a lot of it was like, this is what you have to work with. So putting a pink skirt and a big bow on something was like the easiest way to not have it look like. I mean, it was clearly like a girl, right? Like that's what they did with the limitations.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your
well,
point,
a number of years are going to go by, and then you're going to get a PS4, and then you're going to play as Alloy, and she's going to be awesome, and you're going to be inspired.
Yes.
There you go.
In 2018, you will have about 3 examples of females being portrayed not horribly in video games. That is actually one of the strongest like female archetypes in a recent game. I'll give you that. That's a good call. Those are still far and few in between. For every one of those, there's a Dead or Alive.
Would you call
Extreme
Laura
Beach Volleyball.
Croft?
I think Laura Croft started out as that, and then it turned into something else.
Right. I would say the reboot, yes. I would say she very much was something to look at in, especially like when you look at like the back of the jewel case for like Tomb Raider 2. It's just like a non-in-game rendered sprite of her in like the skimpiest bikini. It doesn't appear in the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It was gross. I mean, I loved it. I was 15, but it's not.
So you got to wait for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure there's other examples, but again, it's still lopsided. But I don't think
a lot. No.
I don't think video games are like the only medium where that is the case. It's still clinging to it though, because unfortunately, it's still a boys' club. It seems to be
a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, she said she's not playing Barbie, but she's also playing Killer Instinct, and you know, you look at some of the models in that game as well.
Not good. Right. That's a good point.
Not really helping the cause. But I guess they're more badass than Barbie.
Yeah.
That's not true. Barbie can do anything.
Barbie up against Aloy. Go, Nate. Who wins?
Oh, Aloy.
Yeah. I really thought it was going to go the
Because
other
I
way.
love that game, and I love her.
Yeah, what would Barbie do in that situation? WWBD.
I'll get some bracelets made up.
Mm-hmm. Dan from the internet, he says, whoa, wait just 1 second. Doom 64 running circles around the PC? Is this correct? Even though Doom and Doom 2 were released a long time ago, they are still better than the N64 version. Why, you ask? 2 words, multiplayer support. Sure, it's fun to hack up baddies with a chainsaw, but it's more fun to hack up your friends. Also, there are millions of patches for the PC, and you can make your own levels. How cool is that? The only thing Doom 64 has over the PC is load time.
Facts.
I don't even have a comment. Well said.
I love how there are people that are just all about Doom 64, and I don't know.
Yeah, given
get
like
it.
the recent resurgence, like, wow, it's coming back. Now it's the freebie, right? Because they had to delay the game. So if you pre-order
Oh, really?
Doom Eternal, because they delayed it, now everyone who pre-orders it gets it free. They'll still sell it too, but
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Huh.
I mean, Doom 64 is fine for what it is, but yeah, all the shortcomings that you pointed out are just, that was indicative of consoles at the time before they connected to
Mhm.
the internet. So,
Yep.
yep.
I think that's all that this magazine has to offer us.
I would like to just add before we leave that one is N64 sucks. Thank you.
There is your gentle reminder for this episode. That
I
hasn't
have to.
been made clear before.
I have to be the staunch N64 hater. I've leaned into that role. And I must own it now.
Oh man, you're not gonna play golf with Troy Aikman if you start dissing Nintendo like that.
Damn it. Better change my ways.
Can you imagine if it was like an old dude, like a guy that was just as old as Troy Aikman who won?
He's like, I thought I was gonna have some fucking kid. This guy's 46, still lives with his mom. Oh, that'd be great.
Yo man, you're on my fantasy team.
The guy from Nintendo calls to, could I speak to Billy? Let him know he won. Yeah, this is him. Oh, wrong number. That's great.
Well, that's good because I currently work as a caddy.
When I'm not cleaning windshields off of the freeway exit.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to end the podcast. So
Yep.
that's up to you, Nate.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to pull out your checkbooks and start making offers on Ryan's game collection. So if that's something you're into, you should send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Send it to weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. And if you don't want to make an offer on his game collection, you can just send us an email anyways on things that are nostalgic to you or something that we talked about on the podcast that you want to talk a little bit more about. Send those emails. We'd also love to interact with you on our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well. And you can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com and geekade.com. And as always, be kind, rewind.
Penis.
Game Boy bread.
Wailing them pins.
Heyo.
There was no time my taint was on your forehead at MGC.
We don't know. We can't prove that. Neither one of us were conscious. So